Hey there, this is Perch, and this will be kind of a short video, I think. Just kind of talking about, well, I'll put it this way: it's very late at night. It's been a long day. It's been a day of work and activity and chaos and curveballs and anything that anyone who works a job and has various things going on in life thrown at them. So it's one of those days you're just tired. You're thinking you're going to go home. You're going to pass out in a chair. Maybe you'll make it into bed. Maybe you won't. And this is the reward for hard days of work. This is the American dream right here coming in. And I think about comics, and for a lot of people, I want to kind of change your perspective a little bit. For a lot of people, comics are this thing that once a week you go buy a stack, or whenever you go buy a stack of comics, or you're reading online, or God forbid pirating, whatever you're doing. Hopefully you're not pirating. I mean, come on, don't pirate. I mean, I know it sounds like, hey, it's easy, it's quick to do, but it's not. You're not helping anybody. I get you're getting your content, and it's a powerful draw, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to make this about pirating. Anyway, um, for a lot of people, it's a business. And I think this is one of the things that social media and the internet and Comicsgate and anti-Comicsgate and sideways Comicsgate and all the different gates, they kind of forget this part of it. They like for just a moment sit down, forget all the things that you've read on social media, you've heard on other videos, you've done, whatever, and think about the person who is working a job to draw a comic book, edit a comic book, write a comic book, publish a comic book, distribute a comic book, open a box of a comic book, sell it in the store, and get it into the hands of consumers, and what their day to day is like. Because a lot of the comments that come about, obnoxious social media tweets, or, somebody paying off a troll to harass people who are enemies, not naming any names, but hey, maybe publishers shouldn't pay trolls to cause trouble. I think that's a bad thing. I don't care. I understand it's cool, but it's a bad thing. Anyway, um, there are people who are working to create a product to sell, distribute, buy for money. And you're maybe asking yourself, where in the hell is he going with this? What does this mean? Well, what I mean by that is this is a business. And all the other noise aside, there's a business, there's logistics, there's drawing a page, there's getting a script, there's writing how you want dialogue to go, there's doing research into a particular topic or a character or a storyline. There's the really boring job. I mean, imagine the person at Marvel whose job it is to keep the IT infrastructure up so that when files are posted to Dropbox and delivered from writer to creator and into production, that they are checking to make sure that the files have been zipped in the proper way to get their to go on the way to the printer to be printed in the exact right way and the page not falling off. I mean, these very dumb minutia jobs that go into delivering a comic book to you as a reader. And I'm not holding these people up as heroes. I'm saying there's a whole factor of life that goes into making comics and distributing comics and selling comics that is very mundane. It's very boring. It's very rote, but it still has to happen anyway. At the end of the day, a comic shop has to retrieve boxes and hope that for whatever reason, FedEx or UPS has not accidentally delivered the comic boxes down to Weight Watchers 3 blocks down the road because they are dumb. And then when you get those boxes, you have to cut them open. And when you cut them open, you have to make sure that the knife does not go through the packing tape into the comics, thereby screwing your first couple titles in the stack. And then you've got to put them out on the shelf. And you don't want to put them on the shelf because it's Tuesday and you've had a lousy day and you're tired, but It doesn't matter. You got to put them out onto the shelf anyway. And then you open the doors in the morning, and you know how in TV shows, a store has a new product, and they show like the crowd of people running down the street excited, and the shopkeeper is in his little apron, and he turns the sign from closed to open and looks anxiously out on the street. Will customers come today? And then a horde of children come running down the street all excited to buy comics. Yeah, none of that happens. You open up your store and nothing happens. And then some people come in and they're like, "Ah, man, this marvelous X-Men here sucks." And they're like, "Yeah, but that's what I'm selling." And then you're like, you don't say it that way. You're like, "No, it's really not that bad." And then in your head, as a shop owner, you're thinking, "All right, do I am I completely lying to this person? Do I like, well, I'm not excited about this comic either, but you should buy it so I can stay in business?" You don't say that. But on the other hand, you don't, I know lots of shops that will go, they take the attitude of everything is amazing. And if you look at a lot of reviews and a lot of shops that do stuff on social media, and people who do, articles for horrible clickbait news sites, everything is amazing. It's like, yep, Marvel Rising, amazing. This random DC limited series that has received no marketing and has a artist and creator team and won't last past 6 issues. That's amazing. You should definitely buy that. A New Age of Heroes, amazing. This independent title, amazing. Um, whatever Image is promoting this month from this creator who once wrote an article for Esquire one time and said they thought comics books were cute. Yeah, you should definitely buy that. Amazing. Everything is amazing. Just buy everything. I think that um, it's none of this is me saying that comic shops are these unsung heroes and you should go and you should throw your money there whether you like the product or not. Not at all. You should put your money into comics and into graphic novels and into things that people love, or sorry, into things you love. You are the buyer. It's your cash. You should put it where you're happy. That's always true, whether you're buying comic books or T-shirts or sandwiches or whatever it happens to be. If you for whatever reason you like Chipotle, you don't mind the terrible diarrhea later. That's okay. That's your money. That's your choice. You buy what you like. That's America. That's the free market. And I think so. I'm not saying that comic shops are these things that need to be protected at any cost. Not at all. I'm saying that there it when you're speculating that there's some grand conspiracy of comic books being having a certain topic that is going to somehow shift the social access of the world into communism. You know, maybe, I guess, or maybe it's just some person who's making the equivalent of $12 an hour writing some freelance book of a character they don't know, but they want to feed themselves, and they're shoving it out to some other workers who are making minimum wage to pack some books into a box and send it out to a store. And that's just some of the product you're getting. And I'm sorry, this sounds very negative to comics. I don't mean it as negative. I actually mean it as very neutral. What I'm trying to say is that if a comic book is not to your liking or is not the thing that is going to make you excited this week, it is not the product of some grand socialist conspiracy. It's just the product of some people who are trying to get from point A to point B so they can get home and watch the new season of Orange is the New Black or whatever it happens to be. And that's the world. And comic books, when they're at their best, are where you have a creator or a team that's really invested, that thinks to themselves. And I've talked to a lot of creators over the years, and every now and then you hear this statement. And the statement is, if I wasn't getting paid, I would still do this because I love it. That, at that exact moment, that's the comic book you want to buy. That's the store you want to go to. That's the publisher you want to support. Because that is somebody who, of course, they want money. Of course, they want to pay their rent. Of course, they want to buy the new iPhone. Of course, they want to be able to fund this month's subscription to whatever horrible porn site they're subscribed to, whatever it happens to be. Of course, they want money. But at the same time, they view this as this undescribable passion, this thing that is bigger than them, that is something that, that gives meaning to their life. And you may be right. You're probably listening to this going, what in the hell did this guy drink prior to making this video? And the answer is old fashions, whiskey, some, a nice type of scotch. But a better answer is we all search for things in life to give meaning. And sometimes we find it, and sometimes we just kind of get by. Sometimes we go to that job and we do the job and we go home and we clock it, and it's the end of the day. But when life really works out, you're getting that money and you're getting that security and that stability, but you're also getting meaning. And if you look at comics and you take a step back and you forget about the price tag, which is hard to do, and you think about what brought this comic into my hands, you can usually detect if this book is passion or if this book is work. And work can be okay. One of the interviews John Byrne gave years and years ago was that he said that, during, and I forget, I'm going to get this wrong, so somebody please correct me in the comments, but I believe when he was doing Namor or She-Hulk in that kind of era, that he made a comment that he got into a rut where he was just kind of, doing work. He was just making pages. And I may have the era terribly wrong, but he made this comment that basically at one point in his career, it was just work. And as a reader and a buyer, I'm like, man, if this is you just doing work, then, holy crap, you are amazing as a creator, because John Byrne phoning it in is John Byrne that I will pay for any day of the week. But most creators, you can tell when there's really passion at play. And maybe the story isn't to your liking, and that's okay. You can, if you have the ability as a reader, as a consumer, to be able to differentiate between this is somebody who is really pouring their heart into this title versus this is somebody who's getting a check. It will help you as a reader basically forgive. If somebody's pouring their heart into something and it's not for you, then it's much easier to still be very invested in comics, still look for that next issue, still get excited about what's coming up. If you get the feeling, and it's like a toxic, poisonous feeling, if you get the feeling like this thing that you're reading, this thing that you're paying for, is just the result of a bunch of mechanical workers kind of kicking the can down the street, it's very hard to keep going. So my advice to readers, to buyers, has always been, find the things that look like real love was put into it, and attach yourself to it. Don't attach yourself to things that seem like a business, like a mechanic, like the creator is, wanting to be snarky on social media and tell funny little jokes and whatever else. That is not fulfilling to you as the buyer, the reader, or to them as a creator. And if you like it anyway, good for you. Great. Your comic store is going to love you. If you're walking in there and putting down your $2.99 on a title that clearly nobody really cared about, then awesome. I mean, good on you, and good on the store, and good on the publisher. Everybody wins in that scenario from a financial sense. But the real victory for comics and fans and readers is when you find the things you love, you find the creators who love what they're doing, and you attach to it. So anyway, it's a late night recording. This is probably a little weird one. because I scheduled all these to go out in the morning, you're listening to this morning, and you're like, wow, I don't understand what was going on here. But I wanted to give you some, kind of this off the cuff. This is what passion means to me. This is what I think passion means to you as a reader. And this is, I mean, hopefully in the background of all this, you're hearing that there is somebody. This is me loving comics. I love comics. I love what they are. I love what they do. I love what they represent. And I love talking to people about them. So, um, okay, so after this, if you want to subscribe, yeah, go ahead and subscribe. I promise it's not like this most of the time. But I'd still love to have you, and it would be great to hear more from you. Hit the bell for notifications if you want to be notified by, random craziness like this. And, give me topics. Give me topics so I don't talk about this kind of stuff and you don't hear the stream of consciousness. Let me know in the comments if this was just the most ludicrous thing you've ever heard, and I'll get right back to reviews and other things. So, thank you very much for listening. Well done. If you made it all the way through this, well done on you. I should have some clapping sound effect right now. Well done. I'll just leave it at that. Well done.